Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's virtual demo day event. Before I jump into the welcome remarks, I'm just going to start with a quick video about Project Invent.
Hi, I'm Samhita.
My name is Maximilian Chavez.
My name is Carmelita Lee.
Our product for today is for children with autism because they find it extremely hard to identify their emotions and cope with stress.
We created the Beta Band, which is essentially a headband. It reads your beta waves, which fall in between a certain low and high beta wave. And if you're outside that range, then your brain is not acting as a normal brain.
Project Invent has definitely impacted my sense of teamwork. I can collaborate a lot more with my peers, have that design thinking into mind. How can we target our users and have the best influence and the greatest impact on their lives?
Working and coding and doing all that stuff, it gave me a chance to be familiar so that I'm not as intimidated going into college. And it's actually made me a lot more excited for freshman year of college.
We've definitely opened our minds up a lot more, and we've learned how to cope with maybe our product not working and still learning from our mistakes.
Having interacted with people who are on the spectrum, young adults and little children, and seeing what they go through and understanding their experiences, and then being able to put that into a product, engineer something, and then see that truly affect them and help them.
A lot of people try and create products for people that they don't even they've never even talked to before. So we had a lot of things that we thought would be good, but after talking to people who actually use wheelchairs, they were we don't have problems with that. So it just you really should talk to people and get to know them before you make assumptions about things that they struggle with.
I think the impact has been huge, and it's changed my outlook towards project-based learning and education a lot, actually. The reason is because prior to Project Invent, I focused a lot on just developing technical skills and having the students learn laser cutting, 3D printing, soldering, sort of for the sake of learning 3D printing, laser cutting, and soldering. But working with Project Invent and anchoring these technical skills to a real-world problem has really, I think, made the learning experiences more meaningful for the students so that they understand what the application is, and has helped with retention and student involvement. It's been really great.
None of these girls came into this project thinking that they were inventors or makers, or that this kind of thing was something they even wanted to do. All of them, I believe, have been radically transformed just by this idea that the world is invented, right, and designed, and that they can participate in designing that world, right? I watched them gain confidence interviewing people, really understanding and delving into design thinking and human-centered design. I watched them struggle through prototyping and then succeed and feel really empowered by that. We have 4 women here who are ready to take on the world and change the world with the invention that they're making, and this is not something that they would have even considered doing in September of this year.
It's been really amazing being able to turn a problem into a solution just through engineering. And so I think Project Invent has taught me that anything that you see out in the world, if you think there's a way that you can fix it, it's totally doable, and that there are resources out there and people out there willing to support you throughout the journey.
This is bigger than just us.
All right, so hello everyone, and welcome to Project Invent's Demo Day X Virtual Pacific event. My name is Lee Mursky, and I will be your MC for today. Today, you'll be hearing pitches from teams of talented, innovative high school and middle school students from around the country who have created inventions for social good. These students are really incredible. Throughout the year, they have built inventions from the ground up with the goal of helping solve problems in society. These students are building the skills to save the world, and they're doing so with incredible support network and infrastructure of Project Invent, which empowers young people to innovate all year round. Today is all about connecting these impressive young people and the hard work they've done with deeply accomplished investors, executives, and visionaries in the tech industry. Just to share a little bit about me before we get started, I teach engineering, entrepreneurship, and physics at Marlboro School, a 7th through 12th grade girls' school in Los Angeles. Along with my colleague Katie Mino, who is also here today, we have run Project Invent at our school for the past 2 years. This year, we have 6 teams participating in the program, and 1 team is showcasing their work today. While I'm here as a Project Invent Fellow, my primary role today is that of MC. I'm here to facilitate and keep things moving so you can hear from these amazing students and accomplished panelists. Now, before we meet our judges and hear the pitches, I would like to share some logistics for today. This is a 2 to 2.5 hour event, but don't worry, you can grab a snack and take a break if you need to at any time. You can see the schedule here for the day. When the pitches begin, each team of students will present a 5-minute pitch followed by a 4-minute Q&A session with our panelists. At the end of the event, judges will deliberate and choose 5 teams to award. While students present, here are a few ways that you can interact with the team. You can use the reactions feature of Zoom to cheer teams on and or the chat to share words of encouragement. Let's test the chat out now by wishing all of our teams and students good luck today. And finally, in the chat, you will notice soon a link to donate. Project Invent is a nonprofit organization, and the work that we do year-round to help these students ideate and incubate inventions for social good, as well as hosting events like this one, Demo Day, connecting these students to industry professionals, are all made possible by donors just like yourself. Project Invent is able to train teachers, run today's event, and support teams because of the generosity of our community. So please consider navigating to the link that you see in the chat to donate if you can. All right, so now without further ado, let's meet our panelists. Our first panelist is Mary Glide, who is the Vice President of Technology at Sequoia Capital. Welcome, Mary. And Mary, in a quick sentence, what are you most excited about seeing from our students today?
I am really excited to just see the way that they have tackled the different challenges brought before them and see what they were able to come up with.
Lovely, thank you so much. Our second panelist today is Jeremy McAnally. He is he's a senior software engineer at Sequoia Capital. So I'd like to say welcome to Jeremy. And if you could share what you're most excited about seeing from our students today, that would be great.
Well, I'm excited to see how they've really done a lot of human-centered design. That was what was really cool last year, was seeing how they thought through solving problems for people.
Great. That's definitely one of my favorite aspects of Project Invent too. Our third panelist and judge is Pari Natarajan, who is the IT director at Sequoia Capital. Welcome, Pari. And what are you most excited about seeing from our students today?
Hi. I'm interested in seeing how they've actually created prototypes in some cases. In other cases, I know they've come up with ideas, but the prototypes are always very nice to see and how they've, worked through that process.
Great, amazing. So those were our 3 high school judges. We also have a couple of panelists with us today who will be spending time with our middle school teams. So our 4th panelist is Kathy Heath, who previously was a nonprofit consultant and now a wellness coach and practitioner at Energized Transformation. Welcome, Kathy. And what are you most excited about seeing from our students today?
Well, coming from the high-tech world and blending it with nonprofits, I am really excited to see how these young adults blend that together to make a difference in the world and change life for the rest of us.
Amazing, thank you. And then our 5th and final panelist is Angelina Ate, who is the co-founder and UI UX design officer of Polaris Health. Welcome, Angelina. What are you most excited about seeing from our students today?
Hello, everyone. In high school, I did a similar program in Kentucky called the Governor's School for Entrepreneurship, and it's very similar to Project Invent. So it's very exciting to be back in this space and see what these students have come up with.
Wonderful, thank you. And finally, we would like to acknowledge that the event today is sponsored by Sequoia Capital. We are very thankful for them helping make our demo day possible and for providing the $2,000 of funding for the prizes that will be awarded today. And actually that number might be 2,500 because 5 teams will be awarded. All right, so we are ready to get started with our pitches. Lee, I think this is the point when the middle school teams would go enter that new Zoom. Is that correct?
That is correct. So if you are a middle school team or someone here watching our middle school students today, we invite you to join us in a separate middle school competition. We'll be awarding 1 middle school team, and I have just sent the link to that Zoom room here. So you are welcome to head on in. Palms, you will be here with high school. We just need our school. Cesar Chavez Middle School will be with us today. So you guys can go ahead and start clicking into that middle school link, and we'll kick off our middle school competition within the next 10 minutes. So I'm going to let you guys sit in the waiting room for just a moment as I get the Zoom room set up. But if you are here to watch middle school, please stay. If you're here to watch high school, please stay back and continue with our wonderful MC, Lee Mirsky, and you'll get a chance to see 8 high school teams pitch and answer Q&A today. So I'll give our middle school teams about 10 minutes to get into our Zoom link, and we'll get set up. Middle school judges, if you could join us there as well. And then middle school, we will head back to the main session after our competition has been complete. Lee, any other middle school questions, or are we feeling good to go?
I think we're all set.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great. All right. Well, I am definitely very excited for this next portion of the event. This is really the main event, the pitches. And so, as I said before, each team will have 5 minutes to pitch, although we will be playing a pre-recorded pitch video. And then they will have 4 minutes each for questions from our panelists. So before we get started, just a quick reminder to our amazing student teams before we begin. I just want you to remember that you have done the hard work. You've identified your problem to solve. You've designed and redesigned and redesigned. You've interviewed users. You've spent dozens of hours coding and building circuits and so much more. Now is really your time to celebrate that hard work, to show off what you've done, to advocate for your invention, and to learn and grow with some of the best professionals in the industry. So take a deep breath, shake off those nerves, and just remember to have fun today and enjoy this time. Okay, so our first pitch that we will watch is from Clean C, from the Best Buy Teen Tech Center at MLK Center in Indianapolis, Indiana. Clean C is a simple filter anyone can make in their backyard. Let's hear what they have to say in their pitch.
My name is Ali Tazir.
I am Keaton Tolles.
And I am Henry Grasher.
And this is our Clean Seed prototype pitch. This is the problem. Past buildup. The beach was used as a chemical dump for companies and was a sewage drain for the city. It was then advertised as a beach that was safe for African Americans to swim in. In present day, the beach is now been deemed extremely toxic and is not safe for swimming or drinking or fishing.
The solutions that have been attempted were first and foremost by several companies that have had similar ideas to us. They have created filters, like more industrial filters, to clean a larger scale. Individuals have also just gone around cleaning up the river and invented some things also similar to us to help clean the river. Another big thing that helps is government funding, but of course we don't have that. Features for our invention are a filter using activated charcoal that will clean out harsh chemicals from the water, and a net that will collect larger pieces of trash. As the right, yes. So we have that activated charcoal inside of this container, and the net on both sides to collect trash. There are flotation devices on either side to help it stay up, and a housing unit on the top for the microbit and all the technology. There's a light on the bottom that works with a photosensor to tell how clean the water is, and there will be a water or a moisture sensor that detects if it's been under the water for long enough, so that as it sinks down due to weight, we'll know if it's full or not. And there will be a resistive moisture sensor to know exactly what is in the water, so that we know what pollutants are there and what we need to counter for in the future. There will also be a monitor on the using the microbit lights to help us keep track of what levels there are that need to be monitored, such as the levels that I previously mentioned. That is for the microbit.
Our pricing. So for a team about our size of 5 people, mostly teenagers, we say that we can probably build a filter such as this with more added technology for around $100 to $200. It's a very cheap amount, but what are you going to do? We don't have that much funding. We're not a company. Speaking of companies, if a company decides to take on this, say as the big ones, NASA, they decide to do something with the ocean before, or Tesla for some reason, they would more likely have a budget around $10,000 to $100,000, which would get them a more pronounced and precise filter using more technology and metal that we sadly do not have. Speaking of this, our competitor analysis, there's this team, this company called Team C's, YouTube created with 2 YouTubers created, Mark Rober and Mr. Beast. They are very prominent on there. They have a lot of following, a lot of money backing them up as well. One of their videos show them using a huge robot to clean a bunch of trash out of this country. I forget the name of. Apologies about that. But it's cleaning out a bunch of trash. It's moving in the bag and it's just throwing it all away. And it just makes the whole entire place look beautiful. It goes back to its former glory because it's a country that constantly doesn't have a trash system. Like us in America, we have every Friday, Sunday, or whatever time, they have a trash collector comes in, takes your trash, dumps it. They do not have that where they live, so they just throw all the trash out and ends up in their oceans, ends up in their seas, ends up all around the place, and it's not amazing, but they just try to fix all it up. And like I said before, a bigger platform, more fans. They have more people coming together to also help them. But something that we do have is dedicated teams who want to help their community and just make it a much better place than it was before. Our contribution is to purify the water and traverse the lake. So we want to be able to, I wouldn't say make it drinkable, but we want to make it be able so people can swim in it without getting any type of diseases. So our final design, we had challenges to create it, but we came up with a couple things that had big challenges for us, were our floating mechanism, filtration system, our electronic housing, and our anchoring method.
A better world. I believe that with this project, we'll be able to bring Belmont Beach back to its former glory and have kids like us be able to swim in it once again. Next steps.
Our next steps are to further improve the design so that it might be more reproducible. It also needs to be more reliable and more efficient so that it can be more permanently used by the community throughout, I guess, until the river is clean.
Thank you for listening to our Belmont Beach pitch.
All right, thank you so much, Clean Sea, for your pitch. And we will now enter a 4-minute Q&A period with our panelists.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. Could you tell me a little bit about how you all dealt with um, the moisture and water aspect with the technology? Obviously, those things don't like to get wet. So what sort of water mitigation methods did you guys?
Henry? Yeah, I feel like that's for Henry, our one of our technology experts for our team.
I think that would be best answered by Duncan. He was the one who was working on that.
I think to make sure I understand your question, you're asking about protecting the electronics from the water as it floats.
Yes. Yeah. How did you kind of figure out how to design that and test that it could handle?
I think there were, I guess, kind of two main factors that I had in mind, and that I think the one factor was trying to keep the section with the electronics just not in a submerged section of the device, kind of so above the water. That's obviously not enough on its own, it'll get splashed. But probably the bigger section was trying to reduce the number of discrete parts that went together to form the housing of the electronics. So it's just a Tupperware container and a big flat lid on the top. So it's a very simple object, and that also makes it cheaper. But at the same time, because it's almost an entirely continuous surface, there's a lot less room for cracks for fluid to enter.
Were there other designs you worked on before you came up with this, or was this kind of your initial direction from the start?
I got this one, guys. So initially we were going towards more of a propeller method. So we were going to propel the mechanism through the water, but we decided that would be a little bit too clunky. It would have a lot more unnecessary electronics involved. Obviously, a lot more motors with the propeller. Then we would also have to steer it or come with a programming method that could steer it itself. We decided to be more cost-effective and time-effective to just go with an anchoring system as opposed to that.
So I have a question on the device itself. So how do you locate it after it's put into the water? And the second question I have is, how long can it last in the water?
We haven't actually looked into how long it would last in the water. That's a good question. We'd have to make it more durable for it to last a long time. But I can't answer the other question. To locate it, we were going to paint it so that it would be easily distinguishable from anything else in the water. Like we were going to we designed a logo, and we were going to put that on top and paint the whole thing a bright color. We hadn't settled on one yet, but a bright color of some kind, so that not only people wouldn't mistake it for trash, but also it would be easy to locate.
I think I'll add to that. In addition to, this is a sort of a separate feature, but would also contribute to locating the device. We haven't implemented this part yet, but back to the sensing the state of the water with the light and the photosensor. We plan to take regular timestamp snapshots of that data and publish it to a database somewhere and where it can be viewed on a web page. And we figured in order to get that data from the devices to wherever, a VPS or whatever, we would need to have some sort of wireless communication, probably a cell antenna or something in each device would probably be a good way of going about that. And that would also probably be useful for facilitating locating it.
Got it, great.
Great, that is right on time for our questions. So thank you so much, Clean Sea, and thank you to our judges. All right, we are going to go on to our next team here. Our second pitch is Lazy Wheel from Heritage School. The Lazy Wheel is a revolutionary product that makes life easier by bringing things directly to you. Here is Lazy Wheel's pitch.
Hi, I'm Owen Glover. Hi, I'm Lucas Stiles.
Hi, I'm Abby Shankour.
And we are Team Roundabout. Today, we're just going to
be explaining to you our general ideas. And first, I want to talk to you about our community sponsor. So our community sponsor is an elderly Asian lady who has arthritis now in her hands and it has trouble bending over to grab things, and she finds it very hard and difficult to do movements like that around the house. Oh, also, interesting fact, she loves cooking and loves baking, and she helps out a lot here around the school, and oftentimes she can be seen like making us, at least for me in the morning, physics. She makes me popcorn with the rest of my class, and then oftentimes on Wednesdays, I think it is, she makes food for the school.
So we came up with solutions to help her, and in the beginning, we had this idea to build a Lazy Susan type product, but make it horizontally, I think, is that how you say it? And so it would use the whole cabinet instead of just the bottom, and it would be more convenient for her, and she wouldn't have to reach things on the top of the cabinet. But later, when we presented it to her, we discovered that it would be a better idea to make it into a cart, the same design but cart form. So we came up with the general idea to base it off a Ferris wheel, and then we decided to go back to the drawing board and draw out how we're going to do it, and we decided to make it out of a bicycle wheel.
Our product is basically a Ferris wheel and a cart, but instead of carrying people, it'll carry whatever our community partner needs. This allows her not have to bend over and pick up stuff because it's normally hard for her. Our product, what we learned designing it, is since we were originally going to be putting it into a cabinet, we had it as an oblong shape rather than a spherical one. And the design challenges that we came across were that we weren't sure how to connect the boxes to the actual moving thing so that they wouldn't flip over and lose all their contents throughout their travel. So eventually, I think it was a couple weeks ago when we were talking to the pitch coach, that we learned, why don't we just do it as a circle, since we had switched to a cart design after talking with our community sponsor more. So we decided to do that, and then came up with the idea of using lids for the baskets, which I'm not sure why that didn't come to us sooner, but that was our solution to all the contents of our baskets, dumping everything onto the floor when they would be moved.
So competition. So we're the first on this market of like Lazy Susans in like a cart. No one has made it before. I've looked it up, trust me, nothing. But the closest things that there is a regular like shopping cart and a Lazy Susan in a cabinet, which is like you pull it out and it will bring the stuff to you. And those are like, the cabinet was pretty high, like in the prices, and the cart I don't think brings stuff to you. So we are probably one of the first people of blending those two together, which is really great and also difficult because we have to figure out how to do it, the engineering on our own, because no one has done it before. And it's pretty great because since like if people actually need it, then we will be able to provide.
So with this new design, we're definitely not going to use obviously plastic baskets or a bike wheel. We're definitely going to beef some things up, make it a lot stronger. We're going to make it motorized. We're obviously going to have buttons on it and all that stuff that you would like on something like that. Yeah, so moving forward, we're planning on improving our design from here. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch our video. I'm not sure how long it's going to end up actually being. We're going to have to cut it a little bit, but thank you guys so much for your time.
Great, thank you so much. All right, we have 4 minutes for questions here. And I think we're working on getting them all spotlighted. There we go.
I'll ask a question. I like the 360 rotational idea. I think it's quite clever. What were some of the challenges, or was there any consideration put into a elevator type system where there was vertical, linear exchanges for storage units? Just curious to know if that was something that was a possibility, and what were the challenges around that?
Yes, so our first design was actually like an elevator. We had looked into trying to make it like go up like that and then shift down, but the engineering was really complicated and not for our budget, and it would not be that affordable to engineer in general. And it was interesting because we would have to program it mechanically instead, and the easiest way to make that shift would be electrically. And well, we did it originally with marble runs to see if it wouldn't like tumble over like the stuff on it. And it really did tumble over. And and then we were asking the pitch coach if like there was a way we could do it like more easier. And like it said in the video, we had changed to a cart version because our community sponsor would really appreciate it in a cart. So she said that the Ferris wheel idea would be more easier with lids. So the stuff would stay in the baskets and it would move to you, and there would be no problems of it flipping over and like crashing the system.
Nice. Good job.
Did you have any considerations around the size of the things that were getting moved, kind of the weight and how large they were? Oh, we can't hear you, Lucas.
Still muted, bud.
Yeah.
I think I got it. Technical difficulties on my partner's side. But yes, we did have considerations, because if you ever met our community sponsor, she carries everything. Like she's got dish detergents, she's got like stacks of plates, she's got pots and pans, and she just like transfers them everywhere. And we were like, if we're gonna build her something, we're gonna make sure it's real buff, because we were like, oh no, what if she puts like one of her pots on there and then, oh, there goes her whole project that we spent weeks on. And then I think we were like considering like making it out of plastic, like 3D printing it. And then we're like, no way, that's not gonna work for our community sponsor. So we were like, okay, we're gonna have to figure out how to like make it stronger when we actually buff it out, and make it in like with actual materials instead of our bicycle wheel and plastic carts.
It seems like you all have a lot of ideas how you'd like to move forward next. If you had like unlimited budget and like a crazy team to work with, what would your next step be if someone just cut you like a giant check to work on this?
Do you want me to get this one, Lucas? All right. So if we had unlimited budget, oh man, we had like a whole product line set up. Like I'm telling you, we had like our plan set. Like it was like there was like this one doc that I'd shared with our other teammate. He sadly can't make it. He's a busy man. And we just have ideas and ideas of like what's next in the line. So like we have the cart version. We're gonna try, if we get an unlimited budget one day, we're gonna try making the elevator shaft in the cabinets. We also had an idea for like a kitchen counter type idea that would be like it would move the stuff to you, and like the stuff moves up into the wall, like the spices would move into the wall for you and stuff. and we would use the best supplies out there, obviously, to make sure that it's good and very very needed, you know, like very like they want it and they want good quality of it. So that's what we would have done. So one day, hopefully.
Great, thank you so much. That is all we have time for. Thank you. We will move on to our next team here. So our third pitch is Buddy System from South LA College Prep. Buddy System is a device that makes students feel safer when taking public transportation. Here is Buddy System's pitch.
For the Buddy System, my name is Jocelyn.
My name is Leda.
My name is Samantha.
And my name is Jade. And for our project, we focus in safety and public transportation. And our community partner is John, who is a student here at South LA College Prep. And he, along many other students, have expressed feelings of uneasiness when they travel alone, because they depend on transportation to get to school and then to return back home. And with this device, we hope that to make students like John feel safer and not alone while traveling. Yeah.
Our solutions to these problems were, number one, the Buddy System, being able to share your location with one or more other people. The SOS function, meaning you're able to alert those other people in the event of an emergency. And the tap card / arrival time, so you're able to use this watch in the metro to get into the metro or just see when your train is coming.
So this is how our Buddy System would look like. It's basically a watch that you could carry around at all times. Our design is shown here on the screen. This would be the home screen with the Buddy app showing you how you can customize up to 3 personal buddies. It would show you your contact name and a picture of them, and you can slide to see the rest. And the tap app would show you your tap card on top and the current amount balance that you have left, and also arrival times for trains or buses nearby where you are.
Our design is very simple, meaning just a few clicks of a button and you're able to use whatever app or function that you need. From children to elderly people, our device is very easy to use, and it's also very low profile, meaning most public transportation stations advise against taking out your phone or other valuable items in the event that they might get stolen. But our watch is very easily accessible, meaning you don't have to take out your phone.
Our watch is like many other devices, like take the Apple Watch and Life 360 for example. The Apple Watch, it has like the sort of same design as our watch, but it's less flashy and less known, and it's more affordable compared to this. And the Life 360 also has an SOS feature, but our watch is more discreet and less likely to be noticed, since for the Life 360 you would have to take out your phone and like go to the app. With the watch, it's just a couple taps of the button. Just more saves you time in moments where you like need to be fast.
We would be asking $200 to make the watch. The way we would divide this is 25% would be used to go to the materials and 25% would go to the manufacturing. This includes the silicone that makes up the band of the watch and any supplies needed to build it. Another 45% would go to marketing to advertise our watch. The last 5% will go to the overhead, paying employees and other supplies, etc. In the end, each watch will cost $110. That's the end. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we are ready for the Q&A portion. Buddy System and judges, you can start asking your questions.
How did you decide on a watch as the direction you wanted to go? Did you think of other things as well?
You can repeat. We decided that a watch would be the most efficient, especially in public transportation, because of public transportation stations, especially the train stations in downtown LA, aren't the safest environments to be taking out valuable items such as your phone. So we figured that a watch that was just available on your wrist would be the most efficient way to be able to get the information that you need.
What did you all imagine the user experience might be for someone on the other end of this? So like the buddy experience, is this like a phone message, text message, phone call?
It would be kind of like an alert. So it would be similar to a text message, just saying like, hey, I'm in this location and I feel that I'm in a kind of unsafe situation. And it would just like share your location with the buddy.
So on the watch itself, how do you see it connecting? Does it connect through the internet? And how do people enroll themselves? You might be on mute.
It would connect through the internet, yeah. Or like it would be through an app on the other person's phone. That way the alert would be able to go through that way.
Got it. The SOS button, by the way, does that go to a different, does that go to the police, or how does that work?
The SOS button would alert anyone in your emergency contacts. So that could include anyone you added into it and security or police that could be nearby.
I see. Got it.
Did you get feedback from your sponsor on the watch idea, and what were did they have any other suggestions or feedback for you in that process?
The most feedback, or the feedback that we mostly had from our community partner, was really like what was necessary for the watch and what really wasn't necessary, because originally we had like a lot of things that we wanted to do, but not, first of all, like in the time that we had, we wouldn't be able to cover all of those things. So we really wanted to prioritize what was important. So our community partner really helped us organize what we needed to do first and what we could like do later if we had more time.
We have time for one more question.
What was one thing that you all ended up saying we could do that later, or design that later, that you originally maybe wanted to do?
So one other thing we wanted to add it was being able to see the other person's location to see how far away they were from your own location, but it wasn't as important as the other options that we were more considering. So we decided to leave it as like a later standpoint if it came to that.
Cool. That sounds great. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Buddy System. All right. Our next pitch is Night Reader from Heritage Schools. Night Reader is a device that will be used to better the lives of anyone who loves to read. And here is their pitch.
Hello, our team name is The Brighter Days. Our team members are Riley Blanchard, Austin Glover, Logan Stiles, and Isaac Patterson. Our ages are between 12 and 16. Our goals are to better someone in our community and hopefully better the world later on. Our community partner is Paul Norwood. He's a senior citizen who lives in our town. Mr. Norwood has recently began struggling with things such as vision and hearing impairment. Our community partner has specifically been struggling with reading due to lack of light. He reads his Bible every night and has been having a lot of trouble doing that lately.
Was there an issue with the share? It seems, maybe. Okay, let me try that again. Sorry about that. Let me also start this video over.
Hello, our team name is the Brighter Days. Our team members are Riley Blanchard, Austin Glover, Logan Stiles, and Isaac Patterson. Our ages are between 12 and 16. Our goals are to better someone in our community and hopefully better the world later on. Our community partner is Paul Norwood. He's a senior citizen who lives in our town. Mr. Norwood has recently began struggling with things such as vision and hearing impairment. Our community partner has specifically been struggling with reading due to lack of light. He reads his Bible every night and has been having a lot of trouble doing that lately. To solve this problem, we have decided to manufacture a light that straps onto any pair of reading glasses. This will enable Mr. Norwood to read his Bible more effectively and efficiently. He will no longer have to strain his eyes to see what's on the page. Another advantage will be that this light will always be available, so it requires little effort to operate. Our product has many features. It will be rechargeable with a sustainable battery life. In the future, we will hope to incorporate a second light on the other side of the glasses for a more even spread of light. This light makes it much easier to see in the darkness, especially. If your room has insufficient lighting, you could also use this rather than straight darkness. Our product has many features. It will be rechargeable with a sustainable battery life. The light will have the ability to mount onto any pair of reading glasses. It will not only be cheap for us to manufacture, but cheap to purchase as well. Our light will also be bright enough to use in any situation at any time. We brought our first prototype to our community partner so that we can receive feedback from him on what needed to be changed. There were a few issues with our first prototype. We made sure to solve a few of those issues in our new prototype that we displayed earlier. There are many similarities from our product to others in the market. We attempted to make ours stand out. We will be using Velcro so that it can strap onto any pair of glasses. It will be rechargeable, and it will have a sustainable battery life, as mentioned before. In the future, we will hope to incorporate an auto dimmer. We will make our product as light as possible, and eventually our product will come standard with a better battery life for increased use. We will also want to incorporate a second light on the other side of the glasses for a better span of light.
Great, thank you so much, Night Reader. And we will have 4 minutes of questions from our judges.
Can you tell me one specific piece of feedback that your community partner gave you on that first design?
Yeah, so our first prototype was it's kind of rudimentary. We had it was a couple chip clips that we had taped some flashlights onto, and it was really heavy and kind of hard to use. He said that it didn't stay on his glasses very well because it just kept obviously aren't exactly top notch. And then the flashlight little dial you had to turn on the back, which was also inconvenient and hard for him to use. He decided to put a button on the back as opposed to and then use Velcro to reduce the weight.
So, in terms of the light, it seems like it's mounted to a set of glasses. For users that don't have glasses, is it clear? Is a set sold with clear lenses as well, or how does that work for people that don't have glasses or wear glasses?
So if you wanted to, you have, I hadn't thought of this before, but you could have like a little back of your book maybe that you could Velcro to. There's no specific thing it can close to. But I think it would, clear lenses would work too. So if you just had even like sunglasses, that's
Okay, it was a little choppy, but I think I heard what you said.
In the beginning, you mentioned that there were kind of two directions. That was either to help with the hearing or the sight. Did you think of any ideas or come up with anything on the hearing stuff, or did you just immediately know you wanted to go into the vision side?
Isaac, do you think this one of my connect?
I think we briefly touched on the hearing thing, but after trying a few like ideas and like coming up like brainstorming, we decided that doing the eyes and seeing would be a much better idea and like would benefit him more, I think.
Did you all experiment with any other attachment mechanisms? You mentioned Velcro, which I think is actually super clever. But did you explore any other options, or was that just sort of like an instant, obvious thing?
So we also, in the beginning, on our first prototype, we tried using just clips, but it was just kind of too chunky and like didn't really work nicely. And so for a couple weeks after that, we just like kept experimenting, coming with ideas, and kind of at the last minute, we thought of the idea to do Velcro, which worked very nicely. So
we have time for one more question.
I'll ask a question regarding competition. Were there any other products that you looked at, and what do you guys think about other products on the market that do similar thing, headbands, those types of things?
So we bought one. It was a $50 light from, I forget the company's name now, but it had a clip on Velcro, and it only came one light as opposed to two. I felt like the price was a little much for what they gave us.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you guys so much. All right. Next, we will hear from Lights Out from Marlboro School. Lights Out is a sleek bedside box equipped with a light indicator, touch sensor, and timer. Lights Out helps users reduce their screen time before going to bed.
I'm Lucy.
I'm Taryn.
I'm Annabelle. And we're Lights Out. Have you ever struggled to put down your phone and get a good night's sleep? Well, 86% of people reported trouble sleeping, having been on their phone before laying down to sleep, and our community partner is one of them.
When talking to our community partner, Ms. Cardenas revealed that she has trouble falling asleep and getting enough hours. When investigating further, we uncovered the root of the problem, her phone. She felt as though she spent too much time on her phone before bed, which was causing her insomnia.
Sleep deprivation is a huge problem that has many consequences, including poorer judgment, reduced awareness of surroundings, and shortened attention span. On a larger scale, sleep deficiency is also linked to many chronic health problems, including heart disease, high blood pressure, and depression. Additionally, screen time is a problem that many people battle with. The average American spends 7 hours looking at a screen each day. Excessive screen time can disrupt your sleep as your body releases a chemical called melatonin at night in response to darkness. Melatonin helps your body fall asleep and stay asleep, and bright screen lights can reduce melatonin production, keeping you awake.
When we first thought of the idea, we began with an alarm idea that would go off at a certain time and alert the user to put their phone down. After rounds of user testing and speaking with experts, we revised our idea to become an LED light instead, as it is less abrasive and negative. We thought that a more positive reinforcement would better motivate the user to place their phone down at night, which is our mission. Additionally, we thought we would use a weight sensor which would read the phone that was placed on the product, but after further testing, we landed on a touch sensor. Our solution is a sleek box with a timer and alarm component, serving as a reminder to the user to set their phones down at bedtime.
Our product includes a button sensor for the box to know when a phone is placed down in response to the alarm going off, a light indicating to the user when to place their phone down and serving as a reminder for the user that it's time for lights out. The indicating light will turn off when our product senses the weight of the phone. Our product will also have a clock feature that coincides with the indicating light, turning it on at a set time every night by the user. Using our eventual app, the user will be able to set different schedules for the timing of the light every night.
When sending our product home with our community partner, we were hoping to learn if the indicating light as a notification prompted the user to put their phone down earlier, and in turn, resulted in a better night of sleep. In order to test this assumption, we instructed our community partner to set a nightly alarm to put her phone down.
We combined this alarm with our works-like model that forced her to have to turn off the indicating light once her phone was set down. As someone who needs to sleep with her room completely dark, having a light on prohibited our community partner's sleep, forcing her to put her phone down and go to bed earlier.
We had our community partner record how she felt her sleep was affected by her phone use and interaction with our product the night before. We were able to learn that she is motivated to put her phone down by the light turning off rather than an alarm indicator. With the product, she was able to get to bed quicker, which resulted in a better night of sleep.
For our competitor matrix, we compared our product with 3 other types of phone jails. The features we chose to compare are the light notification, the small size, and the sleek design, as these features are what make our product stand out against other similar products. As you can see, our product implements all 3 of these features.
With the eventual development of our app, we will need support designing and coding it in order to make the best product we can.
With our product, we are on our way to helping people spend less time on their phones. We invite you to join us in turning the lights out and begin improving your sleep every night with us at Lights Out.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lights Out. We have 4 minutes now for questions.
I think everyone could use this these days, especially since COVID. Do you all have any ideas about how maybe parents could use this as children as well, and what that might look like?
Yeah, so on our app, the schedule and the timing of the indicating light will you'll be able to change when it goes off, and you can have certain schedules for weekdays versus weekends. So if a parent is using this for their child, then they can have the app on their phone so that they are in charge of the timing of the alarm and the light every night.
Nice.
Tell me a little bit about your sponsor and how many days she used it before it kicked in and what the end results were over a longer period of time.
So we only had our community partner use it for a couple of weeks at a time, but we had her record how she felt her sleep was affected by it, as we said in the video. And she said that she felt after a couple of days, it actually helped her a lot. And not because it was she had to put it down, but it made her feel good to put it down because it was there. And usually people want to put their phones down just because they feel like they want to, but with this actual physical product, she felt that it actually improved her sleep.
Got it. Is there any way for you to tell with the product or your notifications whether they take the phone back off at a later time?
Yes, the light will then turn on. And then obviously it'll be hard for them to fall back asleep if the light is turned on. So in order, I guess if they have an emergency, we'll have a button for that. But yeah, if they take their phone off at a later time, then the light will turn on.
Yeah. And we also, when we first started testing the different iterations of our product, we were using a sound like an alarm that would force our community partner to put their phone down, so that if the phone is released again, that sensor doesn't feel the weight of the phone and the sound goes back on. So that is a more abrasive reminder to put their phone down as opposed to the light. So our community partner in particular responded better to the light because she needs her room to be completely dark for sleep. But I think that in the future iterations of the product, there could be a different alarm, like a sound or a light option, depending on what the user wants. Also with the app, we were hoping to in the future do a
gamify it, where there'd be like a streak or something like that. And so if they were to take their phone off, it would ruin their streak. And yep.
Oh, nice.
I like that. Did you build the couple versions with the sound and without the sound then for her to try?
For in terms of testing it with a sound, we had her, since we didn't have the materials to code the like sound alarm going off every night. When we sent it home with her the second time, we had her set an alarm on her phone so that the alarm would go off. And then we gave her a piece of cardboard with felt on top of it, just as like a looks like or a prototype, where she could just put her phone down on that to kind of practice the routine of getting it down on a coaster at that once that alarm goes off. But we also sent home with her the light that was coded with the button sensor that she responded more positively towards.
Can you tell me a little bit about the electronics or coding or whatever that you all had to learn to build the prototype?
Yeah. What we have with us right now, it's just a little bit, it's a touch sensor and then a light that goes on with it. We started with a weight sensor that would sense the weight of a phone, but we had trouble with that because we didn't have like much prior knowledge with coding and the circuit and everything. But right here, we just have a light, as you could see. And then obviously we'll have a box and everything. This is just all we have with us right now. And then like, for example, here's the phone. And then if you place it, the light goes off. Obviously the light will be bigger and brighter, but yeah, basically that.
We had to learn about like Arduino and coding, because a lot of us, we didn't have much experience before this. So it was kind of a steep learning curve, but I think that once we got it, it became like really fun for us, because like you can see your ideas coming to life. So
yeah, very cool.
We have time for one more question.
Did you have any other ideas before you kind of started in this physical device direction? Anything that you kind of iterated on and then just realized you had to throw away from the beginning?
Yeah, so when we first started talking to our community partner, her biggest problem was that she finds herself being late to work because she can't wake up. And so we tracked it all the way back to the night before and found out that it's her phone usage that's keeping her up at night. So before we tracked it back to the phone usage, we were focused on her getting out of bed in the morning to like speed up her getting ready time in the morning for work. So one of the other things that we were looking at was a watch that once her alarm went off, like it would keep going off until her heart rate reached a certain like beat per minute. So like she'd have to get up and do jumping jacks or like run to her bathroom or something like that to kind of get her jump started in the morning. But we tracked it back to what the real problem was and found that her phone was the biggest issue. And this was kind of the first thing that we went to try. So then different iterations of our like phone box or our phone coaster is kind of what we tried after that.
Great. Thank you so much, Lights Out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our sixth pitch is BP Wheelchair from Young Women's College Preparatory Academy. BP Wheelchair enhances wheelchair accessibility through the power of sensors and light.
Hello, we are Palms, and this PowerPoint is presented to you by Maya Salazar, Megan DeBello, Michelle Brooks, Peyton Pickard, and Sydney Lockett.
Content. In this presentation, we will first start with problem identification, second, solution, third, demo/product features, fourth, user testing, fifth, competitor matrix, and sixth, next steps.
About Sam Kelly. Sam Kelly is a storyboard community builder and artivist who works in digital communications and mentors through the National Disability Project. Alongside this, she loves running, reading, decluttering, and tidiness. There's truly nothing she can't do. A quote given by Sam Kelly herself, "Even eat the broken pretzels." This quote means taking the time of grace, mercy, and investments to do something for others.
Hello, my name is Maya Salazar, and I'd like to introduce our ideas for Project Invent. So for our two ideas, we have EMM, which is a headphone used to isolate voices, and BP Wheels, which is a wheelchair that is easy to maneuver, functional, and comfortable.
Who will be using our product? Those with a mobility disability. People who have problems with the functionality of mobility in their legs, whether it is permanent or temporary. Those with a hearing impairment. People who have lost the ability to hear noises above 40 dB noise level, which is seen as normal noises heard in your home.
Starting with EMM, which is an eardrum maximizer. EMM allows buttons to adjust volume, is an equalizer, and has USB microbe connector.
EMM inputs and outputs include a button to maximize and adjust volume, an equalizer to adjust sound depending on surrounding, and our outputs include sound pressure level produced.
EMM versus hearing aids. EMM enhances the volume for those with a hearing impairment. Is going to be shaped similar to wireless headphones to make it more comfortable to wear. And it can isolate the voices. This way you can only hear the voice that is intended to hear. Hearing aids. Used to strictly hear, often worn behind ears, and hearing aids amplify all sounds, including background noises that you do not wish to hear.
For BP Wheels, we have two ideas that we'd like to go through for BP Wheels, which is an 87A Plain Janes, which is wheels that are often used for skateboards that allows them to go over bumps easier and to go through curves easier. It also has a lighter roll, and we would like to extend this onto wheelchairs. We'd also like to add treading. This will help with increased traction and stability.
BP wheelchairs inputs and outputs include treading on tires, padding on bars, changing materials on the wheels, and our outputs include the ability to get over smaller bumps, terrains, and curbs, along with comfortability for our users.
Palms wheelchairs versus other wheelchairs. Palms wheelchairs. Comfortable within the arm space and by the legs. The wheels will be made to go over small bumps while also being lightweight and for longer use. Grooves in the wheels cause traction as to make it easier to stabilize when going at an incline. Other wheelchairs. For those people who recently began using a wheelchair, it can be difficult to stabilize during inclines. There is a discomfort when using the wheelchair due to the uncovered metal pieces. And the wheels are heavy, causing the person using the wheelchair to use more strength, making them tire easily.
Feedback. Wheelchair feedback, given to us by the Senior Product Manager at Atlassian. A braking switch to prevent the wheelchair from sliding on an incline. An SOS button for the user to get emergency help in case of a fall. And lastly, a light that turns on in the dark that enables the user to see the path forward. EMM feedback. This feedback is given to us by the Engineering Manager in Google's Hardware Devices division. This idea is buildable, but may be challenging due to the small size requirements for an ear-worn battery-operated device. Have you thought about a charging/storage case for it? Or are you thinking it would just recharge using a USB-C connector?
Sam Kelly was able to provide us background knowledge with creating our ideas for the EMM and Palms wheelchair. When it came to the feedback process, we were unable to receive feedback from Sam Kelly. However, that did not stop our motivation from pursuing on to further steps.
These will be our final ideas for Palms, and we'll be solely focusing on the wheelchair.
Wheelchair prototypes features a light that turns on in the dark, a proximity sensor/siren, and a brake light.
User testing. This is an idea of what our prototype would look like. So in these marked areas, they will have the different sensors. So in this area, right where the arm is, that's where we're going to place the lights that turn on in the dark. And then right around where the arm resting area is, on all ends of the wheelchair, we'd like to add the proximity sensor. And then towards the bottom part of the legs on both ends, we would like to add a brake light.
Mayor's Office. Meeting with the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities the week of May 15th. The future is accessible. Competitor matrix.
So in this slide, we're going to talk about the competitor market and what we have found. So for starters, we have reflective tape, which is something that is in low durability but low costing. So we did want to focus on having that low price, and although the reflective tape does meet that requirement, it is in low durability, so it would not last long. But on the other end of the spectrum, we have the commercial productions, which is lights that can go on wheelchairs that have a high durability, so they would last longer. The problem is that they are very high in price, very expensive, and we did want to still work with that level of quality, but also understanding that we want our pricing to be lower. And the best thing that was that worked with it is the circuit playground. This met both requirements of having a low pricing and high durability.
Next steps. Next steps. We would like to move forward in testing, getting human feedback from users that will use the upgraded wheelchair daily.
Thank you from Palms.
Thank you so much, Palms. And now we have 4 minutes for questions.
I'm curious if you were able to actually try out any of the wheel adaptations that you wanted to do with the skateboard wheels and the treads. I was super curious about the skateboard one specifically. Like, what made you go that direction?
So unfortunately, we haven't been able to order the wheelings that we needed. One, it wasn't going to come in on time, and two, we didn't have the funds for it because we wanted to focus the funds on more of the I'm so sorry, the other parts of the wheelchair. But we were looking at the wheelchair because we did notice that when we're going down inclines in the wheelchair, that it was getting a lot of traction. So it was going down faster and it was harder to stop the wheelchair. And we saw that it was potentially dangerous. So we did want to add that treading to it. And then we also noticed that going over small spaces and going over other like small bumps, it was very difficult. So we did look up different wheels, and that wheeling for skateboards, although it was on a small scale, it did seem that it would help going over those small bumps and small spaces.
Cool.
Tell me about.
Go ahead, Marty.
Tell me a little bit about how the electronics work in terms of the brake light, wiring, battery operation. How does that system play out?
So we're using a Cricut Playground, and essentially we're just coding everything for the Cricut Playground. It's very low cost, and it's high in durability. So all we're doing is adding the casing to the Cricut. I did know that on the video I did show what the Cricut looks like, or not the Cricut, sorry, the circuit. And so with that circuit, there is a casing that goes over it so it can protect it from any weathering problems. And then we're going to add, we did do 3D printing. Unfortunately, we weren't able to show it on the video, but we did do a 3D printing to add that, to have it attachable to the wheelchair. And so the coating allows it to, when it hits nighttime, it'll turn on automatically. And the attachment that we have it on is glow in the dark as well, just to keep that lighting going on. And for the breakage, what it is we're coating it to where if there's a sudden stop, that you will be able to have that light go on. And then the proximity is the same, where if there's anything that is at a certain distance to the the circuit, that it'll turn on. And this is because we noticed that people weren't aware of their proximity towards those that are wheelchair users. So we wanted to make sure that people are aware of how close they are in case of emergencies or any other problems. And then and so that's mostly of what we're focusing on, is just coding and when it came to the circuit playground.
That's great. Does that device itself have an accelerometer and a proximity sensor in it, or is that something that's separate that you're incorporating?
No, so it's all with coding. So the circuit playground is essentially just, it just has different components within it and lots of lighting, but we had to manually code it so that it'll work in that sense.
Got it. And then you're including a battery, I'm assuming.
Yes, it is. It's going to have a battery included, and we're going to make sure to try and put a casing over it to protect that battery and the wiring that's attached to it.
Okay, great idea.
Did you have any considerations when you were figuring out the placement of the lights that you had to worry about?
Yes, so I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be too bulky, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be something that was going to irritate the user, especially if the user is going to use it on a daily basis. So we wanted to make sure it would stay small and in an area that is both noticeable but not noticeable in the sense that you'll feel it constantly. And we did wanted to make it detachable, so that way people will be able, in case that they don't need it in that sense, or they don't want that part of the aspect, they could take it off, or if they want to adjust it on a different area, they are able to. And we made sure that the way that it's detachable and reattachable would be easy, just in case they have a mobility disability in their hands. So that way it's both accessible, it's accessible in all sense.
Wonderful. That is all we have time for. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to get my screen ready here. Okay. All right. So our 7th pitch is Ladybug Pill from Heritage School. Ladybug Pill can be used for all ages, and it allows people to feel comfortable.
Hi, I'm Josiah. I'm a writer. I'm Ian.
I'm Naomi.
And this is our Pillbug project. Our community partner is Professor Jason Hensley, and he's got a PhD. He's 35 years old, and he struggles from diabetes, which over 415 million people have. The issue that he has is that his mobile device alarm doesn't actually work very well, because he will either put it to sleep or he'll have it being ignored. Because Professor Hensley's device isn't really working for him, we decided to make a product that would help him with his needs. We did it so it reminds him to take his medication throughout the day and shows the time. His one thing is that it can't create sound because you don't want it to be an annoying distraction. We've made it so it's compatible for him and his needs for taking medication. The features of this product include a clock that you can change, along with an alarm that you can also adjust to whatever time you need. Once it reaches the time, it will buzz and flash. You can feel it and or see it. It also will carry pills around with you so you can't forget them. When creating the product, we received a lot of good feedback. He said things like everything really came together for this project. And he said that he felt incredibly excited when he first saw something that was just for him. And he was just really happy to see that there was a team working together to solve problems, in particular health problems. For our competitor matrix, I was searching all around to see if there were people who had similar creations to ours. And there weren't actually many people who had anything that was fun, like a pillbug or a ladybug or whatever it happens to be.
The next thing that we can do for our project is to continue testing for a few more people in the community who struggle with remembering to take their pills. After we work with those people, we can determine whether or not the device is worthy of a mass production. We truly believe that the people all ages will like our product. We can create a medical device that doesn't look like a medical device, which I am sure people all around want to use it because they'll appreciate to have it. Also, we have to adjust the product a little by adding a pill compartment, which we somehow completely forgot about.
When you shake the microbit, it will show the time as it's doing right now. You can push the A button to change the hours, B to change the minutes, and A plus B to change from 12 hours and 24 hours. And if you click the 0 pin, you can change the alarm to go off at a specific time. So now you can see it's flashing.
All right, great, thank you. We now have our 4-minute Q&A.
So I saw the bug you all had at the end there. Is that 3D printed, I'm guessing it looks like, maybe? Did you all have a background in 3D printing, or did you have to learn that to do this project?
Ryder can answer that for us.
Yeah, it was 3D printed. My dad works with 3D printing at his work, so I ended up working with him and finding a design so we could fit the microbit in there and it would all work out and still be like mobile and accessible.
Very cool.
And I was just unclear, did you implement this as a working model, or did you primarily print this as a 3D and then have your electronics to be used later?
I believe that Ryder can also answer that one as well.
Yeah, we planned to work on one. Is that your question? That like the electronics could work inside of it?
Yeah. Is it a working prototype? First of all, that's the first question. The second, where does the electronics fit into it?
Yeah, so well, right now we had some difficulties with coding. It took some time, so we didn't get to finish that exactly. And there's an open spot on the bottom, so in there fits the microbit and the battery. So we can also planning to do one that you just recharge, so it's easy. So whatever need you have or whatever you have to take it.
Got it.
Did you get any feedback on that model you built?
I don't recall if we did, but does anybody remember whether or not on our team? All right.
It's cute. It is very cute, I will say.
So how do you imagine the mechanical piece of that working? Are you thinking like vibration, like more like the motor that you have in your phone where it's more pulsy? Like what would the experience be for when the alarm goes off exactly?
I'm going to defer to Ian for that one.
Yeah, we're going more towards the vibration along with like a flashing light, so you can notice it like two different ways. Because like one of the biggest thing about with our community partners, he did not want it to have sound, so we had to like avoid that, I guess.
Did you guys do a study on competitor devices in the market as well?
Yeah, I was searching on Amazon to see if there was anybody who sold the product that was like fun and creative like ours, but I could not find anybody besides the normal medical looking devices.
Because ours does stuff similar, but we want it more for like user friendly, so all ages can use it. So it's not just like, because there's ones we saw quite a few that like did similar stuff to ours, but we don't want it to be like a hassle. People like don't want it take it. We want it to be so anyone could feel good and still have fun with it and have not be like a burden or something like they like have to do every day. You can add some fun to it.
We have time for one more question.
what made you settle on like a bug design? Was it just sort of like an arbitrary that seems fun, or was there a specific reason that you guys chose like a ladybug versus something else that might be cute?
I can't remember if it was Naomi or Bethany who knew about this one, so I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say Bethany.
Yeah, it was first actually going to be a literal pill bug, but we decided that that was going to be too hard to make on the 3D printer. And so we settled on a ladybug, since that's something every kid knows. And when they see it, they'll just recognize it as a fun ladybug.
Totally. Yeah, it's great. Great option.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. We are ready now to get to our 8th and final pitch of the evening. So this is Team Zen pitching their product ASP from South LA College Prep. ASP is an adjustable support pillow.
Hello, the purpose of our presentation today is to demonstrate our new product. Our business name is Zen. We're all co-founders of the company.
The problem nowadays is how 23% of the world's adults suffer from chronic lower back pain. Lifetime prevalence is the chances of how 84% in the adult population have this problem. It is difficult for someone with scoliosis to maintain good posture. Often someone with scoliosis will lean forward and to the side, or either side or left. But who wrote that? That's grammatically.
So our mission is to provide comfort in schools and work settings for people who experience any sort of posture issue.
George Aguilera Sid is a student at South Lake College Prep. At 11 years old, he experienced a back injury. He fell down a flight of stairs at his home, and he injured multiple parts of his spine. George now has trouble sitting up in school due to his spinal pain. We wanted to help George and other people with posture problems, just any sort of injury that impacts their day-to-day living style, and more specifically in a learning or working environment. The main feature of this product is its adjustability to pressure. There will be buttons on the pillow that the consumer will be able to press depending on where they want to add more pressure. The pillow will also be able to sense where pressure is not being placed enough, and it will alert the user to fix their posture. We tested our prototype with our community partner, and he said that it relieved his back and that it was helpful. We've described our product to several people with similar problems, and a couple of them have said that this product will help prevent back problems, and another person has said that this would have helped them in high school years.
This slide is the breakdown of the price of a product. The overall cost of the product came out to be $37.99. We strategically split the cost among 4 important categories, such as material expense, costs of labor, markup, and overhead.
Competitive analysis. We decided to take a step back and look at our competitive landscape of our industry to better understand how we could help. Competitive analysis is an important aspect of any business. This is because it allows us to analyze and fully understand our competitors and opportunities, customers or products, sales channels, distributors, and target markets.
We decided to take a step back and ask ourselves how our product is different from other products that are also designed to provide support for your spine. These are the 2 main products that we found, and the one all the way to the left is a back brace designed to attach itself to your body, and the one to the right is an office pillow designed to sit on your chair and provide you support on your lower spine. However, these 2 products are only designed for a certain kind of spine and may not be able to help people with different kinds of issues or who may need support on other areas of their back. What will make our product stand out is the fact that the consumer will be able to adjust it based off of their needs. when their posture is not correct and it needs to be fixed. It will either buzz or give them some kind of notification that will alert them to fix their posture.
This slide demonstrates who we aim to help with our product. In target market, under demographics, there is students, people with scoliosis, and overall all ages. So it's not exclusive, it's inclusive to everyone. For geographics, we plan to sell online. And thank you for listening to our presentation. We hope it was informative to you, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Zen. Now we have 4 minutes for questions.
Hello.
Hello. Were there other ideas when you kind of first started, or did you know this is the direction from the beginning?
At first, when we were deciding what we wanted to focus our project on, all we knew for sure was that we wanted to focus on public health. There are a lot of close people around us who struggle with not only back problems, but other health issues as well. So this project was very personal to us. We just knew that we wanted to help people.
Can you tell me about the experience of adjusting the various pressure points? Like, let's say, you've got a very specific, spine issue that you're adjusting for. How do you envision the user setting that up?
We had a lot of ideas on how to incorporate it into our product, but our final decision was it would have a sensor that would essentially sense how much pressure is being placed throughout the pillow. And what would happen is if it didn't sense enough pressure on one area of the product, it would mean that your posture was not correct, and it would alert you through a vibration to fix your posture, and that's how you would know.
Oh, okay.
On the buzzing that the pillow does, is there any specific area where the buzzing is informative to the person so they know how to adjust themselves? Sometimes a nudge is all you need to kind of correct your own posture, but is there
Yeah, so the buzzing would occur in like the specific area where it senses pressure is not being applied enough at. So for example, a lot of people tend to slouch down on their chair, and enough pressure isn't being applied on their lower spines, then the vibration would come from the lower part of the product.
If they maybe aren't applying enough pressure on the lower portion of their body to the pillow, how can you ensure that they actually feel that buzz on the lower portion?
The pressure sensing would be it's a constant
like it'll keep on buzzing, and then once they fix it, it would stop.
I see. Got it. Okay, great.
Was there any point that you all had to rethink or pivot on something like, this sounds good, and then you got down
Yes.
a little bit and had to change up something?
Yes, definitely. When we first started the technology aspect of our product, we had envisioned a lot more features, but we decided to, with the time frame, we had to make it a little bit more realistic. But we did make note of those features that we were not able to incorporate. And instead, we're incorporating those into our feature plans for the product. If it ever ended up being like a success, we would either make new versions of the product that have those technological features if we had say like an unlimited budget, or we just had like a higher budget, and then we would incorporate those features that we were not able to put in at the beginning. I think some of those features included like automatic pressure, like the product would apply pressure on its own depending on where it felt like it was needed.
Very cool. Awesome.
We have time for one more question.
Did you get any feedback when you did have your have tried out?
Yes, we did. One of the quotes that our community partner said that he found it helpful because we let him test it out for a week, and he said that he found it helpful, and it actually like helped him like be in a straight posture rather than how he was.
And it just so happened that our other community partner, Lauren, had a scoliosis, and we asked for suggestions of what we could include in our product. And she mentioned a lot of good ideas, like adding heat. She said that if a device would have that for scoliosis, that it would really help.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, well, that officially wraps up our student pitches. So congratulations to all of our brilliant student teams and amazing support networks of teachers, mentors, and family. Can we just take a moment and give all of the students, I know we're virtual, but either like the reaction round of applause or some messages in the chat just to celebrate all of their work today. Thank you. You guys all did a really excellent job answering questions. So our panelists will now head off to another room where they will have time to deliberate and decide on the 4 awards for high school and 1 award for middle school. And the rest of us are in for an incredible treat with our keynote speaker, followed by some highlights from this year from each of our teams. Okay, so our keynote speaker is Chi Nwogu. Chi is the co-founder and CEO of GameFlow, a community-focused gaming company designing culturally relevant games, from card games to digital experiences. Since obtaining his MBA in 2018, Chi has mentored over 200 student entrepreneurs and continues to do so in his role as professor of the practice of strategy and entrepreneurship. Please welcome Chi. And Chi, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lee. Thank you so much. Wow, I was blown away by all the amazing pitches, and I was spending time trying to grade while listening, but really, really impressed by you all. So congrats on what you've done. It's not easy to get here. And so let me share my screen here. Yeah, congrats on just getting this far. And so, like Lee mentioned, my name is Chi, and I am an entrepreneur, also a professor. I am a mentor. I am lots of cool things, but today I am going to be a coach, okay? And so today we're going to talk about my playbook for when life happens, okay? When life happens. You all went through COVID-19. You all will go through different things in life, ups and downs, but I promise if you follow my playbook, you will be just fine for when life happens. So the general strategy I want us to all keep in mind here is very, very simple. And that's a mantra which I followed for a very long time. And that is adapt and thrive. Okay, so when life happens, you have to adapt to what's going on. You have to adapt to what people are feeling, adapt to what you're feeling. And then from that point, react, right? You have to say, okay, what am I going to do next? And your actions always be to thrive, to shine, to just blossom, to do great things. And so adapt and thrive is our general strategy. And I'm going to walk through 3 different plays. Okay, play number 1 is be a star in your role. Okay, be a star in your role. So here's a picture from my high school yearbook back when I was your age. And this is me playing on my varsity basketball team. The picture up top is me watching my teammate make a layup, and down below is me and my teammates for our team photo, okay? This picture and this page in my yearbook is something which took a lot to get here for me. Before high school, when I was in 8th grade, I had a really bad knee injury while playing football. I grew up playing football, basketball, baseball. And so while playing football in 8th grade, I tore my knee apart, like legit, like jupe. It went like that and tore my ACL, MCL, dislocated kneecap, all the stuff that could have happened, right? And so I went to high school the next year with a pretty bad knee. I actually had a cane during 8th grade and walked around with a cane and did all kinds of things. But I went to high school with a messed up knee, and I got cut from my JV basketball team my freshman year, right? I was cut. It was tough to imagine, but I also knew that that's what happened. I could have just moved on, but I kept on pushing myself because I knew I loved basketball and I loved being part of a team. And by the time I was a senior, I led my team to our first playoffs in 20 years. And so no matter what happens, right, I think for me, how I got here was by being a star in my role as just a good teammate. I was someone who was known to be fun on the bench. I was known to be someone who would always encourage my teammates. And so my role in the team was just to be a great teammate. And then by the time I was a senior, I got more playing time and became really, really good. So be a star in what you're doing and don't let things which happen in life take you away from being who you are. I was always that guy who was upbeat and full of energy when I was in middle school before my knee injury. And I kept being that even though I had a messed up knee in high school. So don't forget, be a star in your role. Okay, that's rule number one. Play number two is create within your passion. Create within your passion. Here's a picture of me in 2013, 14. At this point, I was a sports analyst. Okay, so I mentioned how I love football, basketball, baseball. I love sports. That's really one of my big passions. And so I got here through a very different route though. I was always trying to be an investment banker. I was trying to do the whole finance thing. And I did that quite well. But then in 2008, the global financial crisis changed everything. All the investment banks were now hiring interns. And I was a sophomore in college. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I can't find an internship. I was freaking out. But luckily, I got to meet some great people who had an idea to work in a sports startup company. And they knew I love sports. And they said, hey, Chi, you're a big sports fan, help us launch this company. And so I came in and because I was a sports fan, I got to help them and got to help them grow. And then after I graduated college, I came back to this company and I came back as a finance guy, but said, if I'm gonna do finance, I also want to be a sports analyst. I also want to create things within sports, which I love so much. And I got to do that. I got to really create within sports. And what was a crazy event being the global financial crisis turned into a turning point in my career where I went from being a financial guy to being a sports guy, which is really who I am. And so create within your passion, okay? When things go bad, find ways to create within what you love. What things, when you wake up in the morning, do you think about? What things you watch on YouTube all day long? What things you scroll on TikTok and watch, right? Create within that. And I promise that will make this whole adapt and thrive philosophy much easier. And last but not least, okay, focus on what you can control. I think this is by far the most important play you can run. Focus on what you can control. There's so much things going on in life which we can't control, but things we can control, things which we should focus on. And so I mentioned earlier, I have a gaming company, and my gaming company was all about trying to help young people learn life skills, but we have to make that learning as fun as possible and as engaging as possible. And so we went through a whole entire testing process, right? You guys talked about human-centered discovery and human-centered design thinking. We did all that, focus groups, interviews, live demos, and we were ready to launch our game on Kickstarter. It's a very popular platform where different game makers can launch and get money for their game. But before we were about to launch, boom, COVID happened, right? All our plans got put on pause in 2020, excuse me, in 2020. And we had to take a pause. And that was really tough for us. We had done so much work. We were so passionate about trying to get this game out there. but we had to pause. And so while we had to pause during COVID, we spent time just trying to make sure our design looked great, to make sure that we got to connect with more community partners and make sure they were involved in what we're doing. And so by the time we launched our Kickstarter in 2021, we were trying to raise $20,000 in 30 days. People said, oh my God, that's too ambitious. You're a first-time game maker. It's an education game, it's a sports game. Sports games don't do well on Kickstarter. We were told to raise $5,000, not $20,000. But we said, nope, we are going to control what we can, right? And work on our design and work out on our community. And we launched and we raised $20,000 in the first 24 hours. So we hit our goal in one day. And so because we focused on what we could control, we focused on our design and focused on our community partnerships, right? And trying to build connections. When we did launch after COVID, we launched in a very great way. And since that point, our company has been on an upward trajectory, right? We're now building software, which is going to be used by folks like the Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCAs, to engage young people in really meaningful games. And I think it was all because we were thoughtful and doing what we could during a crazy time of COVID-19. And so to summarize, right, the general strategy is adapt and thrive when life happens. And the ways which we do that is by being a star in our role, create within our passion, and focus on what we can control. I promise you, as entrepreneurs, as future change makers, you guys will do amazing things in life if you keep things in perspective, if you're kind to people, and if you build based around what you love and care about. Thank you so much. I'll take some questions now, but it was really great to see you all present, and I'm beyond grateful to be here today.
Thank you so much, Chi. If we do have any questions, feel free to chime in.
Students, do you have any questions for Chi? You're welcome to just turn on your mic or drop them in the chat. Audience members, you are welcome to do the same. Spend a few more moments waiting on any questions.
No problem.
Chi, if you have a question prompt for them. Oh, it looks like Abigail has a question from Team Roundabout.
Hi. I was just wondering, like, how did you come up with that idea for your game? Like, did it just come to you, or was it like a childhood thing, or?
Yeah, for sure. That's an excellent question, right? So I mentioned how I mentioned rule number 2 is create within your passion. I love playing basketball. I love playing pickup basketball. And for me, when I've mentored and talked to young people, kids in high school and middle school, and we talk about basketball and games, right? There's an instant connection point. So for me, in trying to build something which was going to engage young people, I knew that I had to begin with something which lots of young people know about, but also something which I care about. And so, yeah, and 2, we did some market research, and there were 0 good basketball games out there. So we looked at the market and said, okay, there's a gap here. We can fill this gap with a cool product. So we went in basketball first. A great question, and thank you, Katie, and thank you, Josiah, for the comments. Yes, it's always going to be an up or down journey, no matter what you do. Like I said, right, for me, it's been great to work and make something which, no matter what, I am going to enjoy for me and my family and and people who I play with. But we are now working with folks like Target, which is really cool. So I think for us, as we kind of grow what we're doing, we can share our mission of community first, right, of diversity and inclusion, and also just like making learning be something which I think really in school, I think we all should be able to kind of play games in school and learn from that. So that's where we're going to, and so definitely support us. Our website is gameflow.io, and you can find us also on social media, especially on Instagram at _gameflow. I am an open book, so if you guys want to reach out to me at any point, please do. You can find me on our website. I'm happy to answer questions and for sure provide more insights at any point.
All right, well, thank you so much, Chi. Thanks for sharing your story today and speaking with our students and sharing all of your wonderful messages. With that, I would like to bring it back to the student teams before we get to the awards. We'll spend the next 10 minutes learning about our students' experiences. The 2 questions that they will each answer are, 1, what was a significant challenge that you experienced while designing your product? And 2, what helped you remain resilient, or what motivated you when you experienced those challenges? So kind of like, what's the challenge piece that you experienced and what kept you motivated? This is meant to be brief and a very informal reflection, so don't worry too much about it. Each team will have about a minute to answer these 2 questions. So we will just go in order of the pitches, starting with the high school teams and then going on to the middle school teams. So we'll begin by hearing from Clean-C. So can you share what was a significant challenge you experienced and what helped you stay motivated?
I think one experience that comes to mind was something I guess I was the only one on the team who dealt with a specific problem, but it was quite a long-winded task for what I was working on. I was writing some code for the microbit to measure the. I have to process English. 1 moment, please. Okay, so I was writing some Python code for the microbit to read from the light sensor and basically sort of draw a plot with it has a big, for anyone who doesn't know it has a big kind of grid of LEDs on the side of the board that you can control programmatically. And I basically was using that as a way of sort of drawing a little line kind of progress bar sort of thing to describe how much brightness or how much light was making it to the light sensor for the measurement of the water. And for some reason, it would not compile, which, I mean, for anyone who knows what Python is, that's already a weird thing to hear. But basically, the microbit environment, it doesn't really use real Python. It uses it's like its own fake version of Python that it then kind of transpiles to JavaScript. It was being weird. But it took a really long time to find what I had done, not incorrectly, but done that it didn't support. So it took a lot of digging to get through that. But once I did, it was interesting and it was worthwhile because indeed my implementation did work once I fixed the syntax.
I think the biggest problem that we encountered on the physical design side of things was figuring out what to do with the resources that we had to make something functional. But at the end, I think we ended up figuring out what to do.
Great. And what helped your team stay motivated throughout the year?
I was hopeful that if we got this done, we might make a genuine impact on our community, and we might actually help our community partner. I was really hoping to do that, and I think we have managed to make something that can really help. And then, as well, it's always it's always nice to just end up with an actual product at the end of the line. And yeah.
I would also like to say something about this. See, my grandparents and my parents were alive during when Belmont Beach was the flourishing little beach it was, with a bunch of the Black community around, and where people were enjoying it a lot. And they got to experience what it was like before it got overflowed with toxic waste. And I've seen pictures about it, and I want to experience, and I want them to experience what they had back when they were younger. And I want new communities and new younger kids to also flourish in that environment, because it was a very nice place. It was very vivid. People were coming all around to hang out and just live at Belmont Beach. And I want to bring back that experience that they used to have for myself and others.
Thank you so much. Okay, next we will hear from Lazy Wheel. So team Lazy Wheel, just very briefly, what was a challenge that you experienced and then what helped you stay motivated?
So a challenge we experienced was 2 weeks before we had to turn all the stuff in. Our community partner expressed how much she wanted to change it to a cart. And we had our original idea laid out and how we were going to manufacture it and everything. And then when she said that, just the pressure of making a prototype that would quote unquote work to show how it would function before that time was like, oh no, like I'm sure there was times that like our team stayed up like really late to like focus on like making slides and building the product itself. And I know, for example, Lucas over here, he spent 2 hours making a basket that didn't end up working, which was really like, I'm really stressful because when something doesn't work and you have such short time, it's like, it really puts a lot of pressure on you. And that just, for like 3 days before, we came up with an idea how to build it. And we built it in 1 day and we made the slides in 1 day, recorded the video in 1 day, and we sent it in. And I'll tell you, it was a big relief. I'm sure all our team had a lot of weight lifted from our backs after that one. And I think the thing that kept us really resilient was just seeing our community partner like be so happy that we were actually like helping her with the problem that she's been dealing with and that she doesn't usually express because she will carry all those stuff and not say anything. And it's just so nice knowing that we can help her. And the way that we're helping her is actually will help others as well. And also knowing that one day we can make this into a company, hopefully, and we have more products on the line to help more people and get more sponsors to make this bigger so more people can have access to this.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Next, we will hear from Buddy System. So in a quick sentence, Buddy System, what challenge did you experience and what kept you motivated?
One of the main challenges we experienced was deciding which problem we would focus on because most all of us take public transportation and we know that there's a lot of problems within that system. And then once we found the problem we wanted to focus on, we had to figure out how much we could put into the watch, how much we had to leave out, but basically what we had to mainly focus on.
What kept us most motivated was that all of us used transportation, public transportation to go home. So we were all thinking of what is the best way that we could get home while feeling safe. And that was just our main motivation, just to make sure that everyone could feel safe, including us.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, next we will hear from Night Reader, sorry. Night Reader, what challenge did you experience this year and what kept you motivated? And they might be, I think Brighter Days is their name.
I think one challenge that we faced, just the weight of the product, stable.
I think his Wi-Fi is bad, so I can take over. So one of the problems we faced was the weight. We noticed it was kind of heavy, and we first bought in another idea, something someone else had thought of, and we decided that it was a bit too heavy, and we tried another one was a bit too light. So we decided where can we meet in the middle and be the best usable. And then we also didn't know what to make it out of. We were thinking maybe like plastic or like titanium, I don't know, some ideas, and we decided to settle on 3D printing, which decided to be really good. So those are some of the struggles we faced.
Thank you. And what kept you motivated?
So something that kept us motivated was, since our community partner was a very elderly man, we decided that we really wanted to help him and we really care about him, and we were like, we wanted to also like help those who face the same problems, and it just came down to the fact that we wanted to make this community better and put forth our energy and time into making something easier for somebody else.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, next we have Lights Out. Lights Out, what was a challenge that you faced this year and what kept you motivated?
The biggest challenge that we faced was coding and making the circuit for the weight sensor. Before we had the touch sensor that I showed you guys, we were going to do a weight sensor, which would basically just sense the weight of the phone. But we didn't really know how to code that. And even with looking things up, we just had a lot of trouble with both coding and making the circuit for that. And that's when we switched to the touch sensor, which then took away the problem.
What definitely kept us motivated was our community partner and just wanting to make a product that could help her in her everyday life and anyone else who suffers with the same problem.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, next we will hear from BP Wheelchair. What was a challenge that you guys faced this year and what kept you motivated?
I think one of the biggest challenges was losing contact in our community partner, Sam Kelly. When we tried to contact her again to see if there was any need of improvement, we weren't able to get a response. But we noticed that we were still able to test it out and make adjustments. And of course, since we were able to talk with being able to do these demos, it was allowing us to be able to make adjustments needed. So I think what kept us motivated was we were enjoying our time together as a group, and we were doing our best, and we felt that it was best to continue working on this project. Even if we did lose our community member, we were still going to try and reach out to other people, even if it was going to take a bit longer.
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for sharing. Next, we will hear from the Ladybug Kill. What was a challenge you all faced this year and what kept you motivated?
I would have to say that the main challenge that we faced was the fact that our coding kept on malfunctioning, and through many hours of having Ian, who had to log off unfortunately, work on that coding, he was able to fix it.
And what kept you guys motivated?
The thing that kept us motivated was the fact that our community partner was the principal of our school, and we already caused him enough stress as it is, so I figure we might as well lift something off his plate.
I like that.
And yeah, and also with what keeping us motivated, we started off with a pretty bad prototyper stuff. It was just a box at first, and just from where we got from there to where we got now, I thought it was pretty cool to see. It was like actual progress with what we were doing, which kept keep on going.
That's awesome. Thank you guys. Oh, Bethany, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah, what personally motivated me the most was when we really just got the ladybug shape and we finally got a direction which we were going to come from a box to a cute ladybug. So I was really happy when we finally got that.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, next we will hear from ASP. What challenge did you all face this year and what kept you motivated?
Hello.
One of the main challenges that we encountered was with our software and tech. The Arduino program wasn't working due to the software, so we had a little bit of a hiccup there.
Also, our design at first, it was inconvenient, but after talking to our community partner, he mentioned it would work best if it was like the pillow was vertical, so it would like get all your back.
We just made several adjustments to the design over the time.
And what kept us motivated was that the fact that it was a personal problem for all of us, because our community partner George, he's a close friend of ours, and we saw him struggle on a daily basis. We just really wanted to help.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we will hear from our middle school teams. So Team Claw, would you like to go first in sharing a challenge that you faced this year and what kept you motivated?
And Lee, I know some of our middle school teams may have had to leave. So we'll wait a moment. If we don't hear anyone, we'll move to the next middle school group.
Okay, I think Team Claw, I'm looking at the list too. I don't see Claw. So we can go on to the next one. If Team Claw comes back, just let us know. Is Clear Vision here? Or the Grabber?
Grabber, I know we have one of Chavez Middle School students here. They feel brave and want to share something that kept you motivated while you were working on your product. John or Light, you guys are Litzy. You guys can come off mute and share if you want to really quickly.
I feel something that kept us motivated was that the fact that we wanted to help not only Mr. Torrey, but his wife as well. So I think, yeah, that's a lot of what kept us motivated.
Thank you, Litzy. Any other Chavez Middle School students want to come off mute and share just real fast, and then we're going to go to judges. All right, we'll push forward. Thank you, Litzy.
Thank you. All right, well, we can go to the awards section now. Share my screen here. Oh, actually, sorry. Okay, there we go. Okay, so thank you all so much for sharing. It's always really nice for me to hear the reflections of the teams after a whole year is done. And I know that many of you experience similar challenges with the building and the coding, and but a lot of what keeps you motivated is that community partner piece. So that's always really lovely to hear. So our panelists are back and have made their decision. So it's time to give out the awards. They will select 4 high school teams to award and 1 middle school team. So let's hear a little bit about our award types. So the Need Finder, oh, sorry, let me actually start by just explaining this here. So judges do award student teams based on how they grew across student mindsets that Project Invent has laid out for the year. So those mindsets are ambition and agency, creative confidence, empathy, resilience, and curiosity. So these are the 4 types of awards that will be given out today. The Need Finder Award is given to a team that really listened to their community partner and really exemplified those mindsets of agency, resilience, and curiosity. The Product Pivot Award is presented to a team that had to overcome many obstacles, really demonstrating agency again, as well as empathy and resilience. The Moonshot Award is given to a team who identified and created a notably creative product and one that was a really impactful idea. So they really displayed ambition and creative confidence. And then finally, the Explorer Award is presented to the team that demonstrated the greatest amount of learning. So again, demonstrating agency, curiosity, and creative confidence. So before we start our awards, I do just want to share a quick word with the student teams. And that is a reminder that what you have done today and in the many months of hard work and innovation leading up to today is really incredible. You've built something that few people ever will. You've built something designed to help real people in the real world, and you've done it as a high school student. So that's really amazing. And I know that I'm very proud of my teams, and I know all the other fellows are very proud of their teams and the skills that you really developed this year to become fearless problem solvers. So if you receive an award today, that's very exciting. But if you don't receive an award, it's very far from the end of your journey. And we hope that you continue creating and inventing and looking at the world through that problem solving lens. So with that in mind, welcome back to our judges. I'm going to turn it over to you to present our awards. So when you present, please share the type of award and its description, as well as the awarded team's name.
And we'll start with Angelina for middle school first.
Great.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me as a judge here today. I really enjoyed listening to all of the pitches. I think Kathy and I decided to award the Explorer Award to the Grabber team. We thought that they had the most cohesive presentation. We really enjoyed specifically their budget and their competitive matrix, and also some of their features were more unique. We do want to encourage them to continue on with the growth mindset and hopefully use this funding to do some more user testing and validation. But overall, we thought all of the teams did a great job, and we're very excited to be here today.
Wonderful. Congratulations to Team Grabber, our one awarded middle school team. So we will now present the 4 awards presented to our high school teams, and we will present each one of these awards that was just listed out. So the judges from high school can chime in here with each award.
We'll go in you want to go in the order that they're on the screen, Mary?
Yeah, we had a different order. We're going to go in screen order now. So for the Need Finder Award, first of all, I will say it was very difficult. We went in circles on all of these many times because all the presentations were just really amazing. The care that everyone did in listening to their sponsors or their partners and kind of figuring out what they can provide was really just great. But for Need Finder, we ultimately chose the PALMS team. And the reason we did this was they really spent a lot of time figuring out the needs of the people they were trying to serve, both looking at the kind of 2 different problems to begin with, the helping people with hearing, as well as helping with the wheelchair idea and all the different ways they could approach it, from the wheels to ultimately some of the lights and the proximity. And they really just did a good job of understanding the needs of the partners that they were trying to help.
Okay, and for the product pivot, just to echo Mary's words, difficult decision. Every team, I think, did a great job. But for the product pivot award, we decided to give that to Brighter Days. We collectively thought that they did a good job in overcoming the different obstacles around mounting the light, the different types of hardware, the clips, battery longevity. And so congratulations to Brighter Days.
All right, and I will echo the same sentiments again. We had a really hard time wrestling with all of these. I think we ran up pretty much to full time, jumping back and forth and shuffling names and trying to figure out who to pick, because all the presentations were super awesome. So for the Explorer Award, we're awarding this to Team Zen for the support pillow. We felt like you all really did an amazing job just having the curiosity and the learning to understand the problems that the folks you're serving were having, and understanding how to solve the problem and doing the learning to make that happen. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the moonshot as well. And for moonshot, we awarded that to Team Lights Out. We felt like you all had a really ambitious idea that has widespread impact. And if you pursue it further, I feel like it's going to have a lot of positive impact on people, as you mentioned, in the public health aspect, but also just in the social impact as well. So congratulations to all the teams. And let me echo what they said earlier, you know, that just because you maybe didn't get an award, like all the presentations were amazing, and the research and learning that you've done through this is going to have reverberating impacts both in your life and others as well.
Wonderful, thank you. Can we give all of our teams, not just our awarded teams, but all the teams here, a big round of applause? Thank you. So this officially concludes our demo day. Congratulations to Palms, Brighter Days, Lights Out, Zen, and Team Grabber, and all of our amazing teams today. And a huge thank you to our panelists, keynote, and sponsor Sequoia Capital, our audience and donors, and to everyone who has helped these teams along their journey, from teachers to mentors to family. Just a reminder that Project Invent really relies on the support of donors, so please do continue to donate to Project Invent and enable us to continue this mission of empowering young people to innovate all year round. Thank you so much for being here at this demo day. I really enjoyed seeing all the pitches. Congratulations to all the students, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening.
And Lee, I'll just jump in from one Lee to another, just to thank our incredible judges. The talent that you all bring to the judging process is something that's so special for us and our students. Thank you for listening to their incredible pitches and asking such thoughtful questions. And students, just a huge, huge thank you for you all for being so resilient throughout the many things you shared this year you found challenging and the things that kept you motivated. You guys are doing incredible work, and we could not be more proud of you all. So thank you so much for making Project Invent a part of your year. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and end our webinar. You guys can check out the recording later on and share it out with your community. Thanks for joining us.